Hi, Move Maker. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. So today, I actually am just taking the time out as I feel impressed to actually come on here and make this video for you. Because one of the things I have been finding is that I feel that I've been getting particular messages for myself like every time I need one, and that's why I feel like I need to share something with you, because who's to tell, this is a message that you have been waiting for too. And we're all about making moves, and of course I'm sure that you may be able to get something from this that you can be using to help to make your move. So let's not wait a little longer, let's get right into it. Thank you for staying with me. Now, I'm actually working on seeing how I can be more consistent with my content to you. And even recently, what I do find is that why don't I come on here often and tell you about some of the things that I have been learning as I make the moves that I want to make to become the person I want to be. Now, one of the key things is that I cannot overlook some of the things that I learn when I actually go to church. And for those of you who may not know, I am actually Seventh-day Adventist, so I do go to church on Saturdays. I believe in taking an intentional rest day, and it is something I promote even with my move makers, because one of the things I do find is that we're not meant to be 24/7 creatures. We're actually meant to take some time off and just relax and recuperate and just, get back into the frame of things. Because if you're not careful, and you've seen my video on burnout, and I'm actually going to link it below, if you're not careful, you will burn yourself out. So I believe that it's very important that we take some time off and we rest as we deem it fit. So as I was explaining, I actually went to church, and today, and I'm shooting this a Saturday night after the day I went to church. And one of the things I do find, once I get the inspiration, I'm sharing it. Today's pastor actually spoke about unlikely messages from unlikely places. And that was a very interesting topic to me, because I kept hearing this topic and I'm saying, what is it that he really is going to talk about? And as I, just listened, I realized that he was hitting on a very, 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 very serious point. And funny enough, I thought that he was actually talking directly to me. Now, what he was actually elaborating on, and the text that he used for the background, was actually focused on Jabez and the prayer of Jabez. I don't know how many persons actually know the prayer of Jabez. What is interesting is that I remember learning the prayer of Jabez when the whole song, the prayer of Jabez, was going big. And I don't know who've known that song by Donald Lawrence, where it says that bless me indeed and enlarge my territory. I mean, every church, especially the churches that have choir music, and a lot of choirs, they've been through that era where that song was on constant replay. Like every time a choir goes to sing, bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, enlarge my territory. I mean, it was just so big at the time. And just learning afterwards what the Jabez prayer really was about was something that I started incorporating even into my prayers as I prayed. And it's so critical, because today pastor actually put it in context for me, and that's when I learned some key things. And two of the key things I actually learned was that Jabez, the name was given to him, and I'm gonna link the verse below so you can actually look at it for yourself. The name was given to him by his mother, because according to his mother, she had a lot of sorrow, or she had a lot of pain when she was going through her childbearing stages. And I don't know, maybe there's a mom who is watching this, or a dad, or somebody who has been close to a woman who has been through childbearing stages, and they have known that women have gone through hurt. I mean, I'm a prime testimony of that, because I almost lost my daughter twice, whilst I was carrying. And it's so interesting that she was going through this tough time, and out of the blue, she decided to name her child Jabez, because of board much sorrow. But here's where it gets interesting. Jabez grew up and still turned around despite all of this, and all he said is, Lord, bless me indeed. And I'm going to share it, below. I may not be saying this verbatim, but he asked for God to richly bless him. And what do you think happened? God blessed him. And that is why I'm stopping by here this evening, because I feel that a lot of us, we're not intentional, one, in what we ask for and what we do. And if it is that we're wanting to make some serious moves in lives and we want to get the blessing that we can get, we have to be intentional. We have to be serious about what we want. And there are 3 takeaway points from today that I want to just share with you, because who's to tell? You may be going through something similar, as I said. And also, when you're making moves, it takes some time for you to introspect and see what you're really about, and that may just be able to help you. So I'm just going to get right into it. 3 things that I learned today, or that I took away today, that my fellow move makers, you can use them. So, number 1, be careful of how you try to fit into someone's narrative. Some people may want to pin a particular persona on you. Some people may want to see you do something, not necessarily to fulfill your own vision or your own dreams or your own ideas, but to fulfill what they want you to fulfill. And you have to be careful of how you try to fit into someone's narrative for your life. Jabez was given the name Jabez, because his mom thought that her pregnancy was so rough and the pain that she felt, she was going to name the child based on that. What's in a name? Boy, whether I even say this, I'm thinking to myself, what a thing. I wonder if my daughter will fit into the narrative of the name that she got, because my daughter's name is Nyla, one who succeeds and acquires. And it's just so interesting. There are so many people, and it's not only about names. There are so many people who project on you what they want for you. Sometimes they project good, sometimes they project bad. Has anybody ever told you that, I feel you being the boss of this business or the leader of this place? I've got it on numerous occasions. And then you also have those people, you're worthless, you're good for nothing. And they will tell you all of these things because that is how they want to see you. And if you're not careful, what we do find, and from psychology, we've seen that persons, they may act accordingly. Persons who are usually congratulated normally go on to do bigger things. Persons who are usually downtrodden and their attitudes and everything, they're constantly being put down. Some of them actually go down and stay down. So it's very interesting, and it's very important that you have to be cautious not to always try to fit in someone's narrative of who they want you to be. We were all created differently. We're all different beings. Everybody have a mind of their own. In Jamaica, people normally say 7 different picnic, 7 different mind. Sometimes it's important that you go out there and you chart your own path, because it is important that your individuality is honed, that it's created, and there is nothing more fulfilling. And I have a video that I want to, I really want to drop a video on this topic. There's nothing more fulfilling that when you become so self-aware that you want to create you out of that. So it's very, very key that you take some time. Do not try to always fit into someone else's narrative, but create who you truly are and who you truly want to be. The only narrative I want to fit in right now is that I'm a move maker. And yes, I have been a move maker, and I still want to be a move maker from here onwards. So guess what happened? I'll still be out there making moves. That's the only narrative that I want to fit in. So you have to be careful of how you try to fit into the narrative of what someone wants you to be. And that leads me to point number 2. You can break the cycle. Having sorrow and feeling sorrow, what I do find is that a lot of persons tend to become products of their environment. And some people can take it a step further, and they can go spiritual with it. They can, take it to the ends of here. But there are many people who are products of their environment. they always say you're the sum of the 5 persons you're closest with. So if it is that you have 5 friends who they drink, they smoke and party, what do you think you're gonna be? You're actually gonna be the 6th. If you have 5 friends who start businesses and they boost, projects and try to do things that put their lives into a particular direction, who's to tell? You most likely have the opportunity of being the 6th. And what I do find is that especially as people they grow up in families where the homes may be good, the homes may not be good, and what happens is that they tend to perpetuate the choices and the decisions and the attitudes and some of the things that come out of their families. And I want to tell you today, for those persons who've had a tough background, for those persons who are currently in circumstances where persons around them are usually negative or usually not moving in the direction that they want to go, it's very important for you to understand that you can break the cycle. And the key thing about it, and it was spoken today about Jabez. When Jabez prayed his prayer, he was very passionate about it. And that's why I want to tell you the key thing about getting to the change that you want to make is that you have to be intentional. If you're not intentional about making the move to break the cycle that you want to make, you're gonna have a challenge. There are many of us who've we've been first. Like for me, I've been first in my circles, I've been first in my family, and we have seen a lot of persons around us, just do something totally different. And when you sit and you look at it, it's not always as hard as you make it. It's just that you have to be passionate, you have to be persistent or determined, and you have to want for yourself what is big and what is great. And even when it comes down to your moves, you want to have to make your why so convincing that you're gonna make your move so strong. So what is it that you want for yourself? What is it that you're trying to break away from or that you're trying to change, whether in your circle or in your family or even in your work environment? What it is that you're trying to change? Be intentional about it, be passionate, be persistent, and make the necessary move so that you can make the difference that you want to make. And number 3, you have to always keep moving. This part. I tell you, all of this was actually made for me. There are many times we get to points in our lives and we just feel stuck. We just feel like this is not going anywhere. Let me drop this, let me move on. You have to be intentional about what you want to do and you have to keep moving. And Pastor today actually used a statement from Martin Luther King where he says that if you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. No matter what you do, as long as you keep moving. It's very, very important that you have to keep moving. I always say it, and you've seen me say it so many times here, and I say it on my Instagram a lot. There are going to be times in your life where you cannot understand what is happening when you're making the moves, and it's going to be rough, it's going to be tough, but guess what? I always say it's very important that it's for you to actually rest, but do not quit. You know what you want. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be passionate about it. You have to move towards it. And you cannot, under no circumstances, give up, because the minute you give up, that is the minute you're putting everything you want behind you. You can't do that. You have to keep moving. So I don't know who I'm talking to today. Probably it's that project you've had from last year that you decided you're going to put down because it's just not working out. It's probably now is the time you need to go brush it off. Probably it's that initiative that you started, but then you've been having some hiccups and you decided, let me just pause it for a little bit. And that little bit turned into a little bit longer. And before you know it, you're actually not doing anything at all. It's probably now as a time that you need to get up and go make that move. So guess what happened? Shake it off. Move up. Do what you have to do. Don't let failure get you down and let it put you back. Sometimes it's a launching pad for the success. And well, I won't say sometimes. Most of the times your failures are launching pads for the success that you can get. They always say an arrow can only be shot forward if it is pulled back. So guess what? If the arrow go back, Don't say anything. Just stay there and get yourself ready, because when you're catapulted forward, you are going to achieve what you want to achieve. So be passionate about what you're going to do. Be intentional about changing what you want to change. And whenever you start to make the moves you need to make, do not give up. My word to you this week is very short, and I do hope that you will absorb it and you'll share it with someone. And please like, share, subscribe to my channel for more of this. Follow me on Instagram at movemaker876. My website, movemaker876.com, is up and running. Please go over there. Try to get some of the books that I read that keeps me grounded and helps to push me forward. Try to get into my Movemaker program, and I have a lot of things that I'm working on for this year, and I'm sure they're going to be of much benefit to you. So please go out there, be intentional about the moves you make, and when you start to make your moves, please remember your why, please remember your end goal, and keep pushing, keep moving, don't give up. Have a happy week, Movemaker.